Hey, Bianca here, and welcome to Teach Like Bianca. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my educator self-care tips. This self-care presentation is actually a presentation I did at the Educator to Educator conference. I did change up a couple things because I spoke to educators who were turning into or working towards being a teacherpreneur, so a teacher entrepreneur. But this is gold, and it definitely shows how I was able to show some growth from getting out of my own teacher burnout, where I share my story of what I was going through and the number one thing that helped me actually get out of teacher burnout. Not always you're going to think, oh, I only have teacher burnout because I'm a teacher. It's not always the case. And what you're going to find out is some things that are happening at home, some really small things that are happening at home could actually be leading you to a larger point of burnout that's happening in the workplace or happening just within your home life as well. Listen to this presentation, take some notes, try to do one thing that I mentioned as a self-care tip, and I guarantee that you're going to have a better school year for the rest of this year or the upcoming school year to help you lead a more stress-free lifestyle as a teacher. I do have a self-care kit that's free for teachers. If you want to go ahead and get that, I'll put the link down below. And if you feel like there is something that is pressing that you really want to ask me about, ask me. I have been through teacher burnout. I almost quit the profession back in 2018, but I am still working as a teacher today. So I'm going to tell you what that looks like and also let you know what are some ways that you can actually change your whole educator lifestyle to be more productive and more fulfilled. Thanks for watching, and let's go ahead and start the presentation. Let's go ahead and get started into the very first thing that you need to do when you're going through your self-care journey. You really want to go through some personal self-development. This personal development that you have is going to make sure that you are assessing yourself and looking at some strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And this is known as developing a SWOT, a plan of action, so that when you're starting your journey into self-care, that you know what your beliefs are. You know what you can and what you can't do. And in terms of what you can't do, those are those roadblocks or those threats that are hindering you from changing. You want to make a willingness to actually change so that you can grow and become your most successful self. Because when you are down in your self-care and you're very negative and you're in this sort of more of a burnout, you're very negative. A lot of those core beliefs that you have are because that you can't turn those negatives into positive outcomes. But now once you do this personal development and do your SWOT, you're able to turn those negative outlooks, why you can't change, who is the problem, and all these other things that you might have within yourself. You're able to get through those things without having to have that negative sort of self-talk keep happening to you. One of the biggest things that helped me through my self-care journey was journaling and reflecting on what I wrote. So I used to take out my journal and write during the most stressful times at work, stressful times with my significant other, with my son, with family, just things that were going on at home. And once I started doing that, after about 6 months' time, I started reading back what I wrote. And I was able to review those reflections and find patterns that were making me become in this most burnout state that I was in, that I've never been in before. And this was my self-care strategy for myself, was just journaling, just writing, because I always love to write. And sometimes writing might not be something for you. You can also do audio. You can also type things out if you like. You can also just make your own quiet time, your own thinking reflection time. And I wasn't making time for myself, but the only thing that I could do was make this 15 minutes for me every night before I went to sleep to write. And it changed my whole perspective. Those patterns that I saw were what was holding me back, not only just in my career, but with my family and within life. And after I was able to get over these hurdles just by writing and reflecting on changing those the negative output and the negative core beliefs that I used to have, it changed tremendously. And after I was able to figure that out, my Income started to improve. I was also able to um, gain better perspective on family matters that was happening within my family, and I was also able to set more goals and reach those goals accordingly. Now, being able to treat and avoid burnout is not always easy. Sometimes people try to uh, deflect and place blame on other people, but it's all within themselves. You have to identify and recognize, how are you feeling? You got to find that new direction, that life path that you thought you had. Okay, so it may not mean that you're going to stay with teaching, and that's okay. Making sure that you say no, not saying yes to everything. And that was leading me to probably more burnout than I ever had before, is that I couldn't say no. I couldn't say no within my family. I couldn't say no within work. And it turned me all upside down. So getting out of my comfort zone, I went and started coaching. I went and got my principal certification. I started a blog. I started to write more, going back to things that I used to love to do before I actually had a career and started a family. And it kind of really treated my own burnout, just going back to something that was more of the old me, instead of trying to work on this new person and try to do things that was not making me happy. So when I quit coaching, even though it was something that I tried and got me out of my comfort zone, it wasn't for me. I also stopped tutoring. I also stopped doing Uber Eats because I was trying to do these things to get out of the house and make extra money, because I thought that was going to make me feel better. But it was just taken away from me treating my burnout. It was actually adding to my burnout. So I was doing all these extra things, and I didn't need to do them at all. Everything that I was able to do at home, within my home, with my family. Now, once you start practicing your self-care, you're going to get into this routine, this habit of just always wanting to do it because you know it's going to make you feel better. And it started with me just one day a week, or writing in my journal for those stressful times. It took 15 minutes, but you only really need 10 minutes a day. Maybe it's just laying in your lazy boy, laying on the bed for 10 minutes after work, and slowly just building that into your daily routine. You don't need to be able to do something on a constant, because that is what will lead you to burnout again. Try walking outside, getting sun, just making more times alone. I talk about this before, but if you're in your classroom and you're eating in the teacher's lounge, try to go eat in your classroom by yourself if you need to find those 10 minutes a day at work, okay? Using a journal, a diary, just making your time for your self-reflection. That is the most powerful thing ever, okay? And then finding times to laugh. Like, use a buddy system. If you got somebody that you know that you can call up and just, they're going to make you laugh, or you're going to have a great laugh, call them up, okay? It's okay to just call them unexpectedly and have a laugh with them, or go meet them out for coffee. Make time. That's probably the biggest thing, is making time. And as we talk about making time, you got to be able to balance your time. And, as teachers, we should be able to do this because we plan accordingly. We do well planning out our day for our students, but we have to remember us. Write things down, take notes, get a planner that you use at home. Don't use your school planner for your home planner. Prioritize your values in a day. So what is the most important thing for you today, and do it. Set a schedule, put an alarm on your phone to make sure that you have that time. And then also make that back burner list. If there's something that you didn't get to today that is important to you but didn't make your top priority, put it on your priority for the next day or just that week. You don't want to keep going on and keep putting things aside, especially when it's for yourself. Make sure that you have time for yourself, because without the time for yourself, you are going to end up in burnout on repeat. And that's not what we want to do. We want to start challenging ourselves to do better, to feel better, and to even just look better. As we are planning out our day and prioritizing what we want to do and what we need to do, we want to start thinking about, where are we wasting our time? Because everybody has, the same 24 hours, and everybody has a point where they get burned out, but also everybody has a point where they can revitalize and get that self-care. So where are you wasting time in your day? Social media, watching TV. I know mine was watching TV. I would come home from work and sit on the couch and spend endless hours just watching TV from about 4 o'clock till 11 o'clock. And at that time, I would get up, I would still make dinner, go back, watch TV. I would have my laptop in front of me, plan, write IEPs, all in front of the TV. I didn't need to do that. I would also oversleep. Saturday, I was so burned out that on Saturdays, I wouldn't wake up until 12. I would just be so burned out I didn't know what to do with myself that I would just try to sleep all my Saturday away. But you want to use those times to start making those to-do lists that are going to make you feel happy that you're completing them. Because what happens is you're going to get into a rut, and that rut is going to keep you from completing tasks that are going to make you feel great about yourself. If it's just a prioritizing walking outside, going to get your nails done, getting that pedicure, meeting up with friends, things that can take you back to where you were, to a fun place, a fun time in your life. Maybe that was in college, maybe that was in high school, maybe that was before kids, maybe that was even before teaching. But what did that look like? So in review, we want to prepare for this personal transformation. You want to start a reflection journey. And I'm going to tell you, I started my reflection journal back in 2018, and it's early 2023. I still write, and I have grown and changed tremendously since that time. I really started recognizing who I was, because I wasn't as confident as I was before, and that really made a difference. So recognize how you're feeling today, right now, in this very moment. Practice at least one self-care strategy. Walking, journaling. Journaling, I would say, put that at the top of your list. Find your time wasters and flush them out. Get them out of there. I don't even watch TV anymore. I might turn on the news, but I don't watch TV like I used to. Set yourself a schedule, a to-do list for when you get home, and use those goals and short-term milestones and stick to them. You only have the time that you have today, the time that you have the next day. Don't keep putting things off for, oh, when I get to it, when I have time. You have to make time for the things that you want. So what I'm going to leave with you here today is, if you have any questions for me, if you have anything that you feel that is hindering you from making progress in your life, just reach out to me and let me know. I almost quit teaching in 2018. I almost called it a day, but I didn't have anything else left to do, and everything changed. And it's okay to walk away from teaching. But you want to make sure that you haven't tried everything else before you walk away. And I didn't try everything else. I had to change buildings. I had to change school districts. I had to even change my position to get to where I feel like I'm most happy. So don't leave that out. Don't throw that out of the way. So I'm going to leave you with this quote. Breathe, let go, and remind yourself that this very moment is the only one you have for sure. Shout out to Oprah. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Make sure you like and subscribe, leave a comment, and I will answer every comment. I'm going to leave my email address down below as well if you want to reach out to me. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time.